we'll be looking at the state of upcoming elections in Malawi. The United Nations Development Programme there saying a team of its roving observers are being trained to monitor polling day procedures, security, and rapid reporting ahead of the country's elections. That's in just over a week. This comes as the Malawian Electoral Commission announced that it is advancing its preparations for the general elections, which are set for September 16th. Citizens will elect a president, members of parliament, councillors of their choice, and the Malawi Electoral Commission says ballot papers have begun coming into the country in several consignments. For more, we're joined now by a spokesperson of the MEC, Malawian Electoral Commission, Sangwani Mwufariwa. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here.
At what point are we in terms of preparations beyond the delivery of ballot papers, logistically, the Electoral Commission staffing, the resources that are needed? Does it seem like everything is on even keel and you are prepared as the MEC?
Well, I can say that we are at an advanced stage. We are looking at a critical path, and nothing standing on a critical path can say or can give us any element of doubt that we may fail to deliver an election on the 16th. So, as we speak today, we have started receiving the ballot papers, which we are printing in Dubai. We received the first consignment yesterday, and then we will continue receiving them on the 4th, the 5th, and by 6th we should be done. We are keeping them at safe place, expecting that we are going to start dispatching them on the 9th. And on our schedule is that by the 14th, all the 15,148 polling stations should have received all their polling equipment and the materials. We have almost everything that we needed in stock, and then also regarding staff, we have advanced. We have recruited all the polling staff that we need. What we are doing now is the cascaded training, whereby we train the master trainers who have gone now to the councils to train the presiding officers. From there, the presiding officers will train their polling staff at the polling station level now on the 15th. So far, we should speak to the world that as a nation, we are on course to hold an election which will be a role model to other countries.
So you say the ballot papers are being kept in a safe place. Where are they being kept and who is guarding them?
Well, we are keeping them at the airport. Our Kamuzu International Airport. That's where we are keeping them. The warehouse is under guard by the Malawi Defense Force and also the Malawi Police Service. No one is allowed access unless we are getting new stock. So what we do is that once we have offloaded and warehouse them, we seal the place with our own locks, but at the same time we put seals, and the party agents present also take the seal numbers. When we receive another consignment, what we do is we open, but we open also in the presence of party agents. We break the seals after they have verified that they're the very same seals we used last time. Then we add new stock, and then we also seal it again.
And are you sharing this information with party agents? And I ask this question because there have been concerns about what you've been accused of as lack of transparency, including access to the voters' rolls. So there does seem to be a fear of an environment that is conducive for free and fair elections. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't think they have accused us of not being transparent or access to the voters' roll. We gave them the voters' roll. They have everything. Where there was different in opinion was to issue an issue of audit of the election management system. I guess the two technically they are different. Let me assure you that when it comes to transparency, we are a model electoral management body in SADC and beyond. Everything that we do when we are receiving ballot papers, we invite them, they come and witness. We verify the number of ballots that we have received and even the serial numbers and everything, and were housed in their presence. Come the day that they will be dispatching to the councils and the constituencies, we're also going to invite the political parties to witness everything. When we dispatch the ballot papers from the airport, where they will terminate, whether it's the constituents or the council, party agents will also be there to verify that this truck that has arrived, it's the very same truck carrying the same consignment that was dispatched from the airport.
Are
They'll
you
verify
saying that
this.
there has been an independent audit of the voters' roll, and Human Rights Watch is certainly accusing you of a lack of transparency over this issue?
Well, I may not have seen that statement from the Human Rights Watch. If they did that, they could have done us justice by sharing with that. And the second to that, it would have been better for them to appreciate the context in which the Commission said we could not proceed with the audit as it was being presented from the political parties. For one thing, I think EMB will grant you an access to their software and give you even the source code. I think that was not within the security framework. As an EMB, we got a responsibility. As much would be transparent, we could, but we also have the responsibility to preserve the integrity of the electoral management service. So we also need to have a system that is secure, that not everyone can penetrate.
So,
Whether we have given them the access.
Mr. Mwafura, are you saying you are saying, and I want to make sure that I understand you correctly. So you're saying there is a context, and the parties should understand why you could not have an independent audit of the voters' roll, and you're saying it's because you can't secure that. I'm just trying to understand, is this what you're saying, and why would you lack the
I really
ability?
want to put the matters of the voters' roll into context. The issue that came forward was not like the audit of the voters' roll. They wanted to go into the system, the election management system. When it's an issue of the voters' roll, we have been moving with them. Let me tell you that from the start of voter registration, the party agents were at each and every polling registration center. They were given the voter registration statistics for each day, and even at the end of the phase of the voter registration they had, when we issued the preliminary voters register figures we gave them, at the end of it, we took the entire voters roll, 7.2 million voters, with the pictures and everything to do the voters roll, including the multiple registrants, everything we gave them to say, can you go through this voters roll? Tell us if there's anything that you would see as an anomaly. From that day up to day, nobody has come up to say, we suspect that there's a minor, that there's somebody who's appearing twice. Nobody has come to complain about an issue of the voters' roll. Maybe the issue that we should be discussing was the access to the election management software or into our database and system, whereby the Commission said the demands that you are putting forward cannot be granted for now because of security concern. If you ask any IT experts, the moment you give somebody a source code to your software, it means you are compromising that software. Immediately after that, the thing becomes unusable because it's not vulnerable. So if we give one party an access to the software, what will happen to the others? The others will also not have trust in the very same system. So as an EMB, we got the responsibility to sustain and preserve the integrity of the system and the entire process.
What is the role of the AU's technical assistance mission? So you are saying, are you suggesting that you would need to give a code to every individual party? Why is there not a central system that allows it to be accessible in the presence of MEC authorities and all other legal authorities or electoral assistance authorities that need to be there, including observers, because that is also the role of observers, is it not?
Well, I may not have gotten maybe your question right, but let me contextualize that what the parties had asked about. I would have wished if it had gone into the request, because the request, the way it's presented outside, it's not what is in the audit scope which they had put. So the commission had to say we cannot proceed with this. Any other information that you want, we give, and we have been providing to that. That matter, further to that, I think has been litigated. So we would wait to see the outcome of the
Okay,
court.
so it
Suffice
is
to
a
say
source of
that
litigation.
yes, it's a matter that has been litigated. Suffice to say that the only thing that the commission would want to keep as a secret is anything that preserves the integrity of the process. We are a transparent EMB so far.
Okay, so what about the landscape, the political landscapes? We've seen attacks that occurred in June, what has been made as allegations of intimidation by so-called militia, which has been, obviously it's an allegation, accused to be connected to some political parties. Does the Malawi Electoral Commission see that as a source of concern, particularly in creating an environment that beyond the lethargy, lack of interest in voting, that will see people feeling safe enough to go and vote?
Well, we have been observing the environment since campaign started on the 14th of July. If we look to the past and where we're coming from, we should commend the people that they have been generally peaceful. We have some one or two cases whereby it has been reported of pulling each other's campaign material, one or two cases of intimidation. But I'll tell you that when you look and compare that qualitatively from where coming from, the situation in Malawi has been generally peaceful, and we are looking forward that people will be interested in coming up to vote on the 16th. We in an environment where they will not have fear or be intimidated by anyone. The cases that have been reported have been bordering on had criminal elements. So what the commission did was to refer the matter to the Malawi Police Service for a thorough investigation, and we are looking forward to receiving the same. One thing people should always put into context is that though we are in an election period, there are still statutory bodies, legal constitutional bodies that have got various mandates, and their mandates do not become suspended just because it's an election period. So when you look at us as an EMB, we don't have the capacity to investigate criminal elements and prosecute somebody. So when such a thing is committed, we expect the police to move in and exercise their mandate. The same goes into issues of whether it's corruption, whether it's money laundering, whether it's giving out of handouts. The respective institutions, they should also be moving in very fast.
Have you received any complaints from any of the political parties? Do you yourself say, as the MEC, you've noticed, as you call it, minor incidents, just one or two, but have you received any formal complaints from political parties? And I know some have raised what they consider, because you yourself raised the issue of corruption, what they see as the ineffectiveness of Malawi's Political Parties Act, accusations saying that the ruling party is allegedly exploiting state resources for its campaigns.
Okay, let me put it on record that I didn't raise an issue of corruption, but I used corruption as an example to say, should corruption occur during elections, the mandate of the Anti-Corruption Bureau doesn't become suspended just because it's a case that is happening during an election. We would want them to still probe that. So coming to your question, I would say, yes, we have received 1 or 2 cases. I may not have the exact figures, but the cases that we received needed or required that the police should investigate them. So we did refer the matters to the police.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Malawian Electoral Commission spokesperson Sangwani Mwufariwa, speaking to us about, let me say that again, Mwufariwa. Apologies for mispronouncing that, for telling us what the latest is with regard to election preparation for Malawi.